Welcome back, gamers. This is my speedrun world record for Sunny Park Coliseum in Pokemon Battle Revolution. So this is a Little Battle, also known as Little Cup in later games and later generations. So this is level 5 Pokemon that are at the first evolution. So you can only use Pokemon that are the lowest evolution in the branch. You can see here using things like Bagon instead of Salamence, or even Shelgon, and they can only be level 5, so this comes with some very interesting restrictions. There's also some pretty serious loopholes as well, like a Pokemon like Scyther, for example, didn't have an evolution originally, so it has pretty good stats, and then it was given an evolution later on, but it's still allowed in this format. In actual Smogon Little Cup, Pokemon like Murkrow, Scyther, Mischievous are all banned, but not in this game. So the rules are you can only have one of each Pokemon, you can't have any duplicates, and you can't have any duplicate items. Originally, I was using Scyther and Abra, and kind of looking at my opponent's team and deciding what was best to bring for the battle, because they both had certain Mons they couldn't overcome. But I decided that was too slow in such a short category, and instead I just am full sending Remoraid every single battle. Remoraid is nowhere near as strong stat-wise as Abra or Scyther. Both Abra and Scyther can reach 22 stat in Scyther's attack and Abra's special attack. And traditionally you want to use special attackers over physical attackers in this game because of the attack animations. Special attackers just kind of do the attack from where they're standing, while physical attackers kind of run up to the opposing Pokemon and then swing. So that little run up adds a little bit of time, and this is the run I'm going against. Is a previous run of mine where I used Scyther in I think at least 3 of the 3 or 4 of the 7 battles. So there's some time gain on that, and I'm using Remoraid with an Expert Belt. An Expert Belt makes all super effective moves 1.2 times base power. Remoraid with a speed boosting nature reaches just to the speed stat that I'm comfortable using. 17 speed stat. All of the Pokemon from my testing and my understanding that the trainers are using are all max IV. They have max 31 IV and everything, but they do not have any EVs, which gives me some leeway and flexibility, because if some of these bulky Pokemon had EVs, that would just be that. But in my opinion, this ends up being a pretty flawless run. This is what I was looking for. The opponent never does anything. There is no Pokemon who uses Protect and Endure. Those were moves really ruining a lot of my runs, where the Pokemon would use Protect and that would waste time. All of these are one attack click, one knockout, with no misses, no ability triggers, no nothing like that. So this took quite a lot of runs to get the sort of luck that I got, because in my previous run I had one ability trigger off a Shroomish, the Irony, Effect Spore, Poison, and then the Poison after, and I think I also got Sucker Punched at one point. So priority moves are also something to look out for. And so yeah, here I'm just going for speed. I'm not even looking at what my opponent's Pokemon are. I'm determining right here when it comes out what move to use, and my goal is to Water Spout unless Water Spout won't knock out, and using the super effective moves otherwise. So why Remoraid? It's kind of a Pokemon you would not think to ever use, but I think based on all my research that it is the best Mon for this. Single Mon if you're just going to use one. So it gets Water Spout. So it's doing its best Kyogre impression. Water Spout is 150 base power water type move. It's just the strongest single target move other than Eruption, and Eruption is only learned by Cyndaquil, and Cyndaquil doesn't really get any good coverage moves. So not only does Remoraid get Water Spout, like Wailmer also gets Water Spout, and Wailmer has 70 base special attack and attack, while Remoraid only has base 65. But at level 5, base stats they don't matter as much. Like differences of 5 don't matter. Like they both hit 16 special attack, and Remoraid is actually 1 speed faster than Wailmer. Wailmer only hits 16 speed. Tiny bit of time loss here just due to animations. So that's something to... The only way for this run to really be improved, other than faster menuing, is to get Pokemon who have faster attack recovery animations and fainting animations. Every Pokemon has a different fainting animation. It's part of what gives this game its charm, but that's kind of just like a luck factor, and I'm comfortable with what I got. Personally, I was more going for no opponent using any moves rather than getting the luck based off fainting animations. I think that's a little too much for me. But another reason to use Remoraid over Wailmer is it gets the ability Hustle. So Hustle is an ability that increases all physical moves by 1.5 times, but makes all of their accuracy 80%. It doesn't set it to 80%, but like if a move would be 100% accurate, it'd be 80%. So it's like reducing the accuracy of any moves. So this gives Remoraid the ability to deal with a lot of bulky water types that other Pokemon weren't able to beat. While its Water Spout is still stronger neutrally, like look, it knocks out Happiny. It's not 100% chance to knock out, and according to my calculations, it might actually like never be a chance to knock out, but I think this Happiny has a minus special defense nature because I feel like it's getting the knockout too often. But Abra was the strongest special attack, with its base attack, like strongest neutral attack, being Psychic, is just less strong than the much weaker Remoraid using Water Spout. And then the Expert Belt increases the super effective moves, kind of bringing up its base power and lets it deal with Pokemon it wouldn't otherwise be able to knock out. And the other reason to use Remoraid, it has the best type coverage of any Pokemon in Little Cup. I mean, what Pokemon knows fire, water, and grass type moves, and it learns Ice Beam? So every time I use Seed Bomb, there's only an 80% chance it hits. But I hit all of mine, obviously, here. A lot of resets were due to Seed Bomb missing, and I never had to use Fire Blast. I originally was running Flamethrower over Ice Beam and Blizzard over Fire Blast, but I realized like that helped me knock out Pokemon like Laleep, but instead I was like, I'd rather get Ice Beam, and then Fire Blast has 85% accuracy, which is a lot better than Blizzard's 70% accuracy, and I don't even need to use Fire Blast, just based on the Pokemon I ran into. I only use these 3 other moves. But there is a list of Pokemon that Remoraid just cannot beat consistently, and if I run into one of them, I pretty much need a critical hit. I think I just got lucky here and didn't run into any, but I'll read the list out here of Drowsy. It knocks out sometimes, but not all the time. Mantike, you need a crit to beat Mantike. Even still, I don't even know if a crit knocks out, it's so bulky. Happiny doesn't knock out all the time. Tentacool, you'll never knock out. I think you need a Seed Bomb crit. Slowpoke, I think you need a crit on Seed Bomb. Munchlax, Porygon, Mischievous, Lotad, Wingull, Laleep, and Surskit. I had multiple run into the weak, terrible Pokemon that is Surskit, but just because I have no super effective moves against it. So, okay, so I'm making pretty great time here. Everything's going smoothly. I'm hitting all my Seed Bombs, which is a taint clencher every time I click it, that's for sure. And I've seen like this trainer had a Lotad, I think, or a Pokemon that I wouldn't be able to beat without a crit, and it just didn't bring it. So this is luck based, getting the best luck possible. The first time I ran this category, I got a 12-minute and 42-second run, and then I got down to like a 12:30. Then I got a 12:01. And then I really wanted to be sub 12, so I got this 11:52 run, and I thought I was comfortable with it. I actually recorded a voiceover of it. I I got it all ready to submit, and then I was just like, it wasn't a perfect run. I got that ability trigger, and I got the opponent using a priority type move, and I was using a physical attacking Pokemon. So I just wasn't quite comfortable submitting that run. I really wanted to go get it as best as possible. So here I see her team, and I'm feeling very comfortable. Glameow can use Fake Out, which is bad, and the Peony doesn't always get knocked out. But other than that, unless one of her Pokemon randomly uses Protect or Endure, I feel very good going into this final fight. Definitely a good role for Sasha, because sometimes she has some of the more tough Pokemon. Like I didn't see a Scyther or a Sneasel, or any of these more difficult Pokemon. There's also a chance that you can drop Fire Blast on this moveset for a hidden power. That would be helpful. I'm not sure which hidden power would be the most helpful based on the Pokemon that I'm having trouble with. Could be Dark or Ghost. It could be Fighting. Or it could be Flying, maybe. I'm not really sure. But Shinx can have the ability to Intimidate, so that also is a potential time loss there. But it did not. And here we're just on the last Pokemon. Water Spout it. I'm so excited. Crit. Unnecessary. Very unnecessary crit. I don't even need Ice Beam Pidgey because it's so weak. But here we go. I'd love to see if anyone else can come up with a better or more consistent strategy for this run. I really looked at a lot of Pokemon. Pretty much every Pokemon possible for this run. So 11:37 is my time. I think this one's going to be pretty tough to beat, unless there's some way to manipulate what Pokemon the opponent brings or something like that. But what I should say is every battle, I should definitely say this, every battle is not set. They're not even the same trainer names. Sometimes there's the same trainer names, but there's a huge group of trainers, and they know the same trainer does not bring the same Pokemon. So it's really random. It's kind of the whole pool of every Pokemon that's in its first evolutionary form, and each of those set aren't consistent too. So here you can see I have purposefully lower HP and special defense and especially defensive, a minus specialty defense nature, in order to keep the Pokemon Yanma from protecting in front of me, because it has the speed boost ability. It always wants to protect, or it often wants to protect. But I'm trying to make it so it sees a knockout with one of its moves, because when I was using Abra, it never protected in front of Abra, because it always saw a knockout with like Bug Buzz or whatever it has. So I was trying to recreate the same effect with Remoraid, but I never came across a Young. And I should say that I was using Expert Belt Abra when I was using Abra, but since there's only one item per, I moved the Expert Belt over to Remoraid and just put Wise Glasses on Abra, and I have the Muscle Band on Scyther. Bagon was another Pokemon I wanted to use. It's just too slow. Only hits 15 speed. If it hit even 16, there'd be a chance. It'd be really luck-based, but Bagon, Choice Band, Outrage, knocks out every Pokemon that's not a Steel type. And knocks out every Pokemon. Even knocks out, like, Nose Pass, like, a huge chunk of the time, and Onix, like, really physically Pokemon like that. But that was my run. I feel very good about this one. I'm very happy to submit this. And yeah, hit me up on the Discord if you want to talk about this or another transfer category. My goal is to get all the different transfer categories, speedruns. So see you later, guys. Thanks for watching.